recording. There we go. Now I'm recording. We're gonna watch PewDiePie's I trained my own AI, it beat ChatGPT. So I wanna watch it. We're gonna watch it. I'm gonna eat while watching it. So, you know, it'd be like that. Alright, cool.
It is done. I can finally return to this channel because I have done what I said I was going to do. Not that. We will get to that. One thing at a time. I trained my own AI model. Yay! How long has it been? I'm making my...
I'm doing something similar right now, but I am not, like, training it. I'm just using codecs as a way to connect my home lab until it's actually good enough to run its own model at home. So... kind of doing the same thing, a little bit.
My own AI. I'm making an orb, my own Palantir. I was hoping to share it by the end of this video, but it takes a long time, so. I feel like those bears coming out of hibernation. What happened? But the deed is done, and I ran the benchmarks. Official AI benchmark, and my model outperforms DeepSeek 2.5. Way bigger model than mine. Facebook's flagship model, Llama 4 Maverick, destroyed. And most importantly of all, my model outperforms ChatGPT's 4 in like November or something. That was. This sounds like impressive, but it's a way less impressive once we get into it, and we will get into it. It also sounds way less impressive considering the fact that I almost burned down my house twice for this project. It also sounds way less impressive. I lost my insanity for Now, I have not created my own AI. I have merely taken an AI model and trained it. It's like...
So that's currently what I'm doing right now, and it's connected to the cloud. So, right, you don't make your own AI, essentially. You download it, and you connect it to a program called Llama. So I connected something called OpenClaw, which is it's essentially an AI agent base for a AI to do things. So the AI can essentially do whatever you want. It breaks that limiter on it. I have not broken that limiter specifically. I have told it to stay within the confines of my home lab. It cannot reach out to the cloud. Can't do any of that. So all my information is safe. Just stuck right here. But it did break today, and I spent a little bit debugging it as to why, and it's because one of my programs used up too much memory within Docker, like 30-something gigabytes. No, 18 gigabytes. I only have, like, allocated 30 gigabytes to Docker. I haven't used Docker all that much, just besides, containing a couple apps that I run, like an auto clipping AI app where it takes my video feed and it just does it for me. Like it'll take that, and that's typically what I post to Shorts. So if you take a look at the videos that I post to Shorts, all of that is selected by AI specifically, which is really, really cool. I like that. It's not great. Right, I have it do 12 clips at a time, and sometimes I only get 1 or 2 clips that I really like, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, and I'll post those. But the thing is, because I'm pretty consistent with how many videos I record, I can have it just take multiple, and eventually I can train it on certain parameters to, like, once I get enough videos, for it to know me well enough to see what does well and what doesn't do well. And so it can train itself based off of that. I'm guessing he did the same exact thing, just with completely different parameters. I'm going off on a whole tangent here. Let's just watch the video. This is a long video. Let's get through this.
Stealing a child on the street instead of birthing one myself. It's way more effective that way. Plus, it would cost millions and millions of dollars in infrastructure, which I do not have yet. Am I talking about birthing or... But it's important for you to understand just how naive I was going into this, because I knew nothing about machine learning, training AI, and coding. Did I mention my model is a coding model? I can make a coding model. Sure, Felix. Great idea. But I also know I wasn't that crazy going into this, and I'll explain why. But
All right. Okay, calm down. You know what, Obama? Time yourself out. All right. Okay. You know, I'm joking. So what he's talking about here is a specific bot made for coding. So it's a comparison thing, right? The reason why people say something like Claude is better than ChatGPT at coding is because that's specifically what the model was trained to do. It was made for coders to, you know, do code. Now it's branched out a lot and it does better on multiple different benchmarks, but that's what it was specifically made to do. So I'm guessing he downloaded something specifically for that, and he thought, oh, I can train it based off of that, when he doesn't know code himself. Bad idea, but it seems like he got it anyways. So.
Mainly the fact that I wanted to do this was because I wanted to learn. The reason I'm here with this video and the series of events has just been me approaching this philosophy of just, yes, this might be difficult, but I will learn from it. Step by step, you know, that takes you places. And that's why I'm so excited to announce today's sponsor, which is boot.dev. Boot.dev is a website that teaches you how to code, but for real. I did their Linux course and it's fantastic.
I did boot.dev. I did that for a little bit. Not long. All right, sorry, Felix. I'm going to skip over all that. Why are you here?
Yourself on boot.dev. There's an instruction of a problem. You get a framework on how to initiate or what to use. And then there's a validated answer at the end of it. Basically, I gathered around 100,000 samples like that. And then you feed that to the model, which slightly nudges its parameters. Like it slightly probably nudges your brain. And bada bing, bada boom, you have trained your model. It's kind of like this. Your AI, look at this. Are you learning? Are you getting this? You will look at these. You will look at 100,000 more. Pay attention. This might take a while. The model that I used was Gwen32B, which is already...
Oh, that's actually a kind of large model. So, holy cow, that is a large model. Look at the number of parameters down here in the bottom left. 32.5 billion parameters. That's huge for something that's supposed to be local. I mean, nowadays we're up in the trillions of parameters, but that's for like cloud. This is for like companies. Holy cow, for something like that. Oh my gosh. And that's tuned. That's tuned. Wait, what? Oh my gosh. Holy cow, that's big for a local AI.
Pretty amazing at coding, but I needed it to be amazing at coding in this format. The whole reason I decided to do this and where I landed, because I discovered something. There are many ways to benchmark and test your model. I discovered there's one called Aider Polyglot. If you remember last video, I used the agent Aider to code my own web UI. This is a respectable benchmark that tests coding in 6 different languages. That's 6 more languages than I know.
Oh wait, hold on.
Coding in 6.
Python, Go, JavaScript, Rust, Java, and C++. C++ is the most fun. Python's the easiest. Rust is the new kid on the block. Java sucks. JavaScript is easy. I don't know anything about Go.
Different languages. That's 6 more languages than I know. But what was interesting about this is that state-of-the-art models like ChatGPT perform like garbage on this benchmark. 18.2%? What? My model that I was planning to train on performs 8%. Trash. But it performs 16% if you use a different format called whole format instead of diff format. Basically, there's 2 different formats, but one of them is important. How do I explain this? It's basically like this. You draw a picture, okay? Imagine you draw a picture and you want to add a cloud. But instead of just adding the cloud, you redraw the entire picture with the cloud. It makes no sense. But basically, a lot of these models, they struggle to understand the format of just editing in the code instead of just writing.
Models still struggle with this today. Like the newer models, they get doing this. They rewrite the entire thing rather than just adding it in because they don't understand what that means. Now, currently the model that I use, Jarvis, is good at it because it uses Codex. Codex is a terminal-based version of ChatGPT 5.3. So rather than it being within its own restricted area, only able to use the information that you provided and information on the web, it's built specifically for that kind of thing, to make, or not to make, just to do everything specifically. Whereas a terminal-based one is only supposed to work within your computer. So, like, obviously you can access the internet, but that's really for mainly like downloading things, adding it to your computer, running certain projects, building new apps, stuff like that. So I'm gonna keep pausing the video anytime I want, Brandon. Calm your all right, fine, we'll start the video. Look, if you want to go watch a video on your own, you can go watch a video on your own. If you want to react to moi, or if you want to watch me reacting to it, whatever, you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm tired.
The whole thing. It's just stupid. It wastes compute and it wastes time, and I never used it as well. So I thought, hey, if I can just fix the format, I will make my model 16%, and that will almost beat ChatGPT. The goal, beat ChatGPT.
What is happening?
Kind of like I was like in the middle of a freeway, and there's a bunch of cars there that I have to direct constantly because I had to move for this to finish. Everything took so much time, and my GPUs had to constantly be cooking. And I had to do all this makeup, cosmetic surgery to the data because all these developers writing poor, lazy. First of all, I even published some of that. Lazy instructions. Don't make a commit if you're just gonna add a comment. But finally, I had my data, but I still knew I needed more. And I also wanted to try out synthetic generation of data, which is basically, you typically take the strongest model that you have and you ask it, hey, look at this, make more in this format. And my God, it was a beautiful thing. Mwah. You get the perfect data, exactly the way you want it. It's amazing. But the problem is, and maybe you already know this, AI is wrong all the time. Okay, it's basically like...
AI sucks at doing a lot of things. It's just, whenever you keep telling it, this is wrong, 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 you're essentially training it to do a quicker path. You're probably gonna have to do it multiple times, but it'll essentially get to that path, and it'll always find it because it has access to infinite amounts of resources. So it'll eventually get there.
This. I tell AI my drawing skills have really I'm sure glad I learned how to draw. I tell AI make a burger by showing him a burger, and then AI makes what looks like a burger, but I open the lid and he put razor blades in there. So my harness is a burger eater to check that if real burgers are made instead of fake burgers. I think I explained that pretty well. You lied to me! My synthetic approach, I know that most people don't care. I use OSS Instruct from Magic Coder and Evol Instruct, which is an amazing method. It's basically like that cloning dancing guy technique. You feed a code snippet and then you say, hey, make it into this format, and also make it do another one, but make it more advanced. I don't want to get into it. This technical, it doesn't matter. This video will take forever. But the problem I had was I was not getting enough of it. And I don't trust, okay? I don't trust like that, okay? So I validated it. I kept thinking the problem was my test harness. So I needed to fix that. What an idiot! That just made it so I passed more garbage. So when the time came for me to finally train my model, after months, I was so excited. I ran the benchmark and I had made an AI model that finally, that was worse. I made it worse. I probably should.
Oh, that's so real. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've done something and it like I've given it data, I've given it all this, and it comes out worse, and you have to spend hours and hours and hours of debugging to try and get it even back to where it was before, and it sucks. And sometimes you have to restart from scratch.
Could have quit then, but I am way too stubborn for that. I just can't. I don't have it in me. I can't do it. This is when you realize AI is kind of like magic, right? But it also isn't. Garbage data in, garbage data out. There was a lot of issues with my data. When I had fixed my harness, I had just let more garbage data pass through. There was also all these other issues like empty white spaces and classic coding issues that I just wasn't aware about. So that's why I had made it worse.
Oh, I'm good.
But I gave it another attempt. And this time, no more mistakes. No more dilly-daddling. Lock in. Again, the model is worse. It was my harness yet again. I don't know why I got so stuck on this thing. Well, I didn't even need synthetic data. I just wanted it to work. I just wanted it to work so bad. Finally, I had fixed the thing and the benchmark came in 16%. Sometimes 15, sometimes 14, but 16 was the highest. The model is just not going to solve the same problem every time. It just doesn't work like that. There is a level of randomness to it, to the benchmark performance. But 16 was the ceiling, and that makes sense because that was the ceiling in the official whole format or whatever. And I had fixed it so it's in the diff format, but I had not made a difference. I had not made the model smarter. And remember, I need to beat 18% to say that I beat ChatGPT. Otherwise, this means nothing. So, my plan of attack was to add reasoning to my data. Adding reasoning to your data is basically making it write out some thinking before it solves the problem. Instead of doing 2 plus 2 in your head, you go, oh, okay, so let me break this down. So I'll have 2 apples, and then if I add 2 more apples, and then I put them all together, then I will have 4. This is really effective for complicated issues to break down the problem into parts, and it really can improve the performance of the AI. But when it's simple questions and it still does it, it can be very, very irritating as well. You've probably seen this actually if you use a stronger AI model. A lot of times you ask it questions and it goes, oh, absolutely. Well, let's break this down into parts. First, we're gonna, and you're like, that was a simple yes or no question. What do you mean? But it's a really effective way to make your model solve problems more accurately. And a lot of these smaller open source models that I train on struggle with this because they just haven't been trained on it enough. So that was my plan of attack to make my model smarter. And I found a study that showed that 10% in performance. I'm like, 10%? That's way more than I need, baby. Let's just clone this Git repo and get going. The only problem was, of course, that the ungodly level of computation that was needed for this. And that's when things were starting to smell funny. I realized my room had this weird aura to it all of a sudden. Hey, I swear it didn't used to smell like that. So I decided to reboot my computer and lightning strikes all across it. Smoke starts pouring out. My whole life flashed before my eyes. I turn off the computer, but the damage was done. One of my GPUs had died. Rest in peace. I tested each one by one, and it seemed like everything else was okay. It was just this one problem. And looking at my purchase history, that one GPU came from a different factory. You have to understand what a hack job this setup that I have is.
Holy oh my gosh, dude. That's a lot of power. What the hell? This is also really, really unsafe. I'm just now noticing that. Wait, what NVIDIA cards are these?
Okay, it's bifurcated. It's under.
Are those the RTX 6000s? Oh my gosh.
Volted to death. This GPU's run on 450 watt. I run it on 175 watt. Just so my house wouldn't fucking crash every time.
I would never do that.
And then these are hacked Chinese 4090 GPUs. This whole thing is
Say that again? Hacked 4090 GPUs? Okay. I was like, those are a little small to be 6,000s, but I'd never seen those before, so.
Held together by prayers. Literally, in Japan they sell these prayer-infused IT badges. Where is it? It's in front of my computer. An official Japanese priest. I probably have now blessed my computer and I was ready to give it another, only for the smell to appear again. After sniffing my GPUs like a maniac, I concluded my GPUs was not the problem this time. And eventually, I found it. I don't think it's supposed to look like that. Again, I was using a cable that was graded for 1,500 watt. I was running over 2,000. Ooh. Changed cable, we were good to go. My computer kept crashing still.
Oh, it's still... thought it crashed. It has crashed. Oh, fuck. What a pile of...
You'd think training would be just this straightforward thing, but it's really not. It's taking too long to train. I need more compute, okay? What am I gonna do? It's not my fault. I know what you're thinking, Felix.
So, you can train an AI, like you can give it all this data to train on, and it can either it could take years to train it well enough. Like you could train this on a Raspberry Pi, and it would take years to do, and you'd be so behind the bell curve. So him doing this on his own is like it just shows you how much power this thing is taking, like literally.
Are you building another computer? No, I am just extending the one I have. Of course, I'm an epic.
Oh, he's building his own server rack now.
Minimalist. I had to steal the circuit from my bathroom and I drilled the hole. It's super heavy on your computer, and every time it crashes, I have to defibrillate it back, bring it back from a coma. It's not pleasant. With everything that had happened in the past, extremely stressful, and I really started doubting what the I'm doing here for these 2%. I started calling upon DeepSeek API because it's practically for free, and eventually I had 15,000 samples, which is way less than I had aimed for, but these were the top of the top, the creme de la creme samples that I have, with the most beautifully crafted step-by-step reasoning the world has ever seen. I did my supervised fine-tuning, 3 epochs, and I ran the benchmark.
Hey, Lana, I can see your messages. I already said that I'm good.
And it scored
17.
Are you kidding me? But as I mentioned,
see, that's a little ridiculous to me. Like, how are these companies now getting percentages upwards of 89%? How much money are you putting into this? It's ridiculous.
Performance is kind of random. So I kept running the benchmark. I had eventually given up, but I had done one more just for the of it, and I noticed, holy, this one is having like a god run. It's at 40%. What is happening? It drops to 30. I'm like, hold, please hold. It drops to 25. It drops to 20, and it finally finishes all the exercises in the benchmark. It is done at 19.6%. I have beat ChatGPT at last! It felt so good. Stop! Stop! Don't listen to this guy. The benchmark is invalid. I did not check for contamination before the benchmark. Basically, if you grab data all across the internet, there's a high chance that you're gonna grab data that might already exist in a benchmark somewhere. So you have to check for contamination. I didn't check for contamination. I didn't want to check for contamination. But my stupid conscience was like, oh, I should probably do it. I was backing up, going through my data for the gazillionth time, and I realized there was some contamination. It's not a huge deal, but it's like, if I just am honest, whatever, to me it's not good enough, and I want to clear out my data, and I'm gonna retrain again, benchmark again, and I'm hoping, and I think it will still give me the same result because it's such small contamination. I'm kind of worried because I'm running out of time. Have I done all this entire time? Have I achieved nothing this entire time and the whole thing was a hocus pocus? That's what I thought. So this time I went all out. I trained on my entire data set. Previously, I trained on a small subset of what I thought was my best data because it takes forever to train. It takes forever. It takes days, weeks. And since I reached the score of 19.6, I was like, I'm done. But not... Then I made another discovery. I was training on the wrong model. A major update. I'm watching my video. This guy. I'm giving feedback to my editor. And I'm like, hold on. What is that? That is not the coder version. That's the regular version. Have I been training on the wrong version this entire time? So maybe this has all been a blessing in disguise because I feel like with these two things in mind, I should beat ChatGPT. I should, but we will know in a couple days. Did I beat ChatGPT? Well, I trained on the coding model, and the first score, 4.4%. I don't know what the happened. I can probably think of 5 things, but I don't care to figure it all out. It's gonna take forever. I just retrained again, and the model score, 25%, baby.
Wow!
I have not just beat ChatGPT, I beat ChatGPT twice. Their August version as well. I was so relieved. I was like, thank God. But I made another discovery. It's not over. A third of the benchmark was not even running. C++ and JavaScript just wasn't being tested properly. So I fixed the benchmark, I run it again, and the final score, 36%, baby.
Whoa!
This means I also beat Google Schmoogle's thing as well. And I think I beat 4.1 or something. I don't know, ChatGPT. It's a massacre out here. You're being destroyed. It's embarrassing. OpenAI stock just demolished. Just quit already. This is what pops the AI bubble. This. But I was like, there are still issues. I'm gonna do some post-training. 1,500 samples, splinky blinky, 5 epochs, and I ran the benchmark again. Pure decontaminated, let it be known. Purer than the fountain of youth. 39.1%,
wow.
baby.
Oh my God.
Another I think this one I beat Google Schmoogle. Where's the stupid benchmark? Yeah, Gemini Pro. You guys pay for that? I did not think this would even ever come close. But here's the embarrassing part about all of this. I train on Gwen 2.5, but Gwen 3 is out. And it scores 40%. So unless I beat 40%, this means nothing. And I'm out of time. I don't have time. I need to send this video to my editor. Yes, there was one more thing. A model being good at one benchmark is stupid as okay. I need to test this model on other benchmarks as well. I want to test it on Swebench, all these other coding benchmarks. Unless it improving that, I don't even know. I am just out of time, okay? I don't have time to do it, but I will. And if this model ever gets to a point where I feel like it's good enough, I would love to share it. But I think if anything, I might just move on to a different project in the background.
Fair enough.
Because it takes a long time.
It does.
And
it takes
I'm kind of tired.
to train
That being said,
models.
You've seen me fail a lot in this video. I have become so accustomed to failure, you have no idea. I've almost given up on this project so many times. There are so many times where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is the stupidest thing ever. I have graveyards full of just garbage, debunkle, schmunkle, deformed data that I have generated thinking, this is the best. I have gone through the whole alphabet of failures. I was just so way in over my head on this project. But I think the #1 thing I've learned, how do I explain this? When you install Linux, here's what happens. Linus Torvalds, the creator, becomes your godfather, inevitably. And I was watching one of a random video of him talking, and he was talking about how he's doing this project, and he was failing, but that's okay, because that's how you learn.
Some people think that failure is a bad thing, and I happen to be one of those people who actually enjoy doing things I'm not good at because it's how you
I'm not
learn.
one of those people.
And I'm watching
I hate
that,
doing that.
and I'm like, he's speaking
That's
to me
why I
right now.
switched from computer science to data
Oh my
science.
god. But I really feel like that's the main thing I've learned from all this. Because there's so
changed
much
my major.
to learn from
Because I
failure.
hate
Learn from it and reiterate and keep working. I think if you have expectations of how things should go for yourself, you're just gonna get disappointed and you're gonna want to give up. So expect to fail, embrace failing. That's the message
No.
I want to send out to you kids. Last thing,
If you fail, you're a failure. That's my message.
this is a coding model, and I think a lot of people are looking at coding models like, are they going to replace? And I saw Linus
No.
say this as well, and it was basically saying coding models, if anything, it will just bring in more people interested in learning how to code. Again, he's speaking to me right now. Like, I would never have wanting to learn how to code if it wasn't for AI coming into the picture.
Exactly.
So,
Me neither.
on the final note, learn something new. Check out boot.dev. I highly recommend it. It's a
Okay, that was a really cool video. Very similar to what I do nowadays. I want to check out some of the comments though. Go to see some paper action here. Oh. Wow. There's a lot of bots. Oh, hey, look, he replied to one of his comments. What did he say? Video talking about your own bubble, sorta. Since I did Googled, a lot of news stuff showing up on my algos. I noticed myself feeling a little stressed in general. I know it's generally frowned upon not to keep up, but I also don't care, lol. Fair enough. I keep up with the world because I know there's nothing I can do about it anyways, and so I don't stress anyways. That's right, guys. Keep your cortisol low. So, that was a cool video, though. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. Now it's time to go play some